there's this meme. We're looking at the picture right now. Let's make it a little graphic. We'll try to keep it at least PG-13 here. Welcome to Nonsense Reviews. I'm Brandon Ellis.
And I am Scott Honickman.
And today we endured Alvin and the Chipmunks and their their new record, Yolo. 21 songs of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
And don't forget the Chimpettes also make some appearances.
They do make some appearances. I'm sure there are some romantic songs, so I'm sure the Chipmunks were inspired afterwards from doing with the Chippettes. Some of these songs, With or Without You, I don't know if there was a breakup. Moving Up, that could allude to something in the groin region. I don't know. Lady Luck, they probably got some ladies and got very lucky.
They never let them down.
I don't think these are cover songs. The Chipmunks, their very inception, they were all about covering songs, just high-pitched versions of songs that you know and love, like, ooh, ee, ah, 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 bing, bang, wall, bing, bang.
And Brandon, kids ate these songs up like they were candy. Kids loved, even when I was a kid, I loved Alvin and the Chipmunks renditions.
They had the movie, right?
Oh, that movie.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
All of them.
I think it came out in 2007, and I remember really enjoying it because I was a child. I believe you were a child too, right? You're only like a year older than me.
I was a child.
Did you enjoy the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie when it came out?
At the time, I loved it. I could not get enough of it.
Oh, when the sequel, the Squeakquel came out, I'm like, yeah, all right, this is clever. They're in high school, even though they sound like 4-year-olds. They're the height of zygotes, and it was so wacky.
You must be our new students. I'm Dr. Rubin, the principal.
And we're the Chipmunks.
Yes, right, that would explain the fur and the bushy tails.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I knew it was bad. I think I was more self-aware, realizing that was a bad movie, but it was a guilty pleasure. The third movie I didn't even see. The fourth movie I just heard a lot of horror stories about.
I didn't know there was a fourth one.
The fourth movie...
What was that, Chipwrecked?
No, it's a Road Chip.
Oh.
And it came out the same day as Star Wars The Force Awakens. The same exact day. It was competing. And now, competing with Abbey Road, its 50th anniversary re-release, is YOLO, Alvin and the Chipmunks. And the only way we know that this is going to compete with that is you see on the album cover, Alvin
rocking out on
his guitar.
Stratocaster.
You know that this is a rock album.
He's wearing some fresh kicks. He looks more humanoid than any other rendition of him we've seen previously.
Exactly. So you're in for a bumpy rock and ride, a rock and roller coaster. The few glimpses of guitar were pretty good. Theodore was like really rocking out.
Oh yeah.
But you can barely hear it over the Chipmunks just wailing.
The thing about this album was every song has an abundance of the chipmunks harmonizing and singing with auto-tune, and it really drowns out the rest of the instruments.
No, there was one time they were harmonizing. I'm like, wow, this sounds kind of good. Wait, it's just auto-tune anyway.
It is auto-tune.
We don't even know if they were actually good.
There are some songs in here that that are a little bit more instrumental, like
there was one on the
Busy
piano.
As a Bee and
There is one song where they're on piano. Someone was on piano. We're pretty sure they auto-tuned like a high-pitched Billy Joel just rocking out in the studio with the Chipmunks.
I think after this album comes out, they could definitely afford to bring Billy Joel back.
This is pretty big. I mean, it's probably a desperate plea for attention after not getting... This is the last time we may get a Star Wars movie in a while. And they're not making a Chipmunks movie to compete with it. This is our last chance to be relevant. So they're making this album. They're calling it YOLO to be hip and relevant.
Oh, of course. Even though YOLO is something that's 8 years too late.
What was I, 2015 or something?
No, 2011, 2012.
2011, 2012. Back when they were relevant.
This is more relevant than today.
Yeah, and we got some Chipette verses too, if you're a fan of that. If you can believe that the Chipmunks can get even higher. They got the Chipettes with their vocals, which is unbelievable. Like, it's like the sound of a dog whistle. Like, only dogs can make out what they're saying. It's so high-pitched. And speaking of getting high, there's one song, what was it? Higher Than the Sun? Something like that.
Go up. No,
Faster Than the Sun. Come on, like, this is a... You said it before, Scott. It's like they're talking about getting high.
they're alluding to, feeling enhanced in some way.
Some form of speed that they took. How else do you get voices like that? It's like steroids for like high-pitched voices. They must have it somehow. There's this meme. We're looking at the picture right now. Let's make it a little graphic. We'll try to keep it at least PG-13 here. This Know Your Meme. We're on it right now. It's this question of who's getting the best head. And you have the 3 chipmunks on a sofa.
With different facial expressions.
Different orgasmic
faces. Grabbing the couch.
Theodore is just wailing, and Theodore, I think Simon looks like it's hurting a little bit.
Yeah, Simon looks like he's giving birth.
He's got a little condition. He may need to go to a urologist after this experience. So we're theorizing like just the names of the songs, and they're so upbeat, talking about girls, Out of Luck, Busy as a Bee. Never Let You Down.
The entire
Lady
time
Luck.
me and Brandon listened to this album, we
were talking about how the Chipmunks are getting head at and how they were inspired by this experience. 21 songs of it. It must have been the best head of their life.
That's our theory. They got such great head that they made a whole album talking
With
about
or without you, it's when they discovered masturbation.
Bye Bye Bye, after they finish, they kick the girls out.
They're like, can we kettle? Nope, Bye Bye Bye. And then for some reason, Bye 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 was perfect.
Bye 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 was probably the best song in this album.
They had Theodore shredding on the guitar a little bit.
It was more instrumental.
It should have been a good end. The name Bye Bye should be a signifier for an end.
Yes.
A finale, if you will. And then DNA, it should have been, as you said, a Japanese bonus track.
DNA is the last song in this album.
It should have been in the middle. It's not great. It's definitely not one of their better songs. Not that they have good songs.
I think it really undermines Bye Bye Bye. But
yeah,
there are some catchy tunes to be had on this album. Like I said, Faster Than the Sun is probably catchy, probably one of the catchier songs. Best of Buddies is alright. It's kind of like a rip-off of You Got a Friend in Me.
It's sort of like, it reminds me like the instrumentation originally like a Pixar, You Got a Friend in Me.
It feels like a Pixar song.
You Got a Friend in Me, that's a friend thing. Best of Buddies, that's a friend thing. That's probably where Best of Buddies after getting some nice head. Where honestly, the album's terrible. It's horrible. That's why we're reviewing it. But we have a few recommendations. You said
not every song on this is unbearable.
There's a song about getting high that was pretty good, especially if the imagery of chipmunks getting high.
You remember?
Bye 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 was epic. There was some Busy as a Bee.
Busy as a Bee was pretty good.
There's actually like some audio of bees buzzing. I thought it was clever.
1 2 Poof was probably my least favorite song on this whole.
I wish it was like 1 2 poof, and it was a 3-second song.
And it was done.
But no, it
Follow
just went on
okay.
and on. Top of my game. That was a song that definitely felt a lot of pride after getting head. I'm sure they're very on the top of their game. The Good Side.
The Good Side was catchy. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna forget about every one of these songs after we finish.
That's why we listen to this, so you don't have to.
Exactly. The new nostalgia critic. After his review of The Wall, you may need us as opposed to him. And that's about it. Yeah, terrible album. 21 songs.
But does it get the nonsense seal of approval?
I think it does. If I'm not someone who does drugs or even promotes it too much. But if by any chance you were on drugs, I fully, wholeheartedly recommend this. Any alcohol for sure.
It'll be a fun laugh with your friends.
Yeah, if you're with a bunch of friends who are goofballs. Any other context, don't listen to this. But as nonsense goes, it gets the nonsense seal of approval from me. What about you, Scott?
This is very nonsensical, and it does get the seal of approval from me as well.
There you have it, folks. That is Alvin the Chipmunks, Yolo. No cameo from Dave going, Alvin! So the question is, who survived getting head the longest? So we're thinking Theo. I mean, Simon's in pain. It looks like it, so he was probably first. The Chipettes probably felt bad. His female counterpart, Wise, is probably like, I'm sorry. Theo definitely went for a good time, but Alvin, he stopped, and when Dave came, shot everywhere, and Dave goes, Alvin!
Got some on Dave.
Yeah, and that's why they never made another Chipmunks movie again. But definitely check out this album if you're inebriated, and that's it.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, we're on SoundCloud still, TuneIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, just about everywhere. So please check us out. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe. I've been Brandon Ellis.
I have been Scott Honickman.
Nonsense Reviews, signing off.